Let's go, UW. Did you guys listen / see that clip from Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show? It says they made a
Mm-hmm.
valued point of this injury,
Yeah.
or it should be a catalyst for contracts being fully guaranteed. Part of the reason the 2010 Steelers voted no on the CBA.
Yeah, that was a big reason why they voted no on the CBA. That's been one of the big sticking points the previous negotiations. And I did see it, man. And
Wait, the Steelers wanted fully
yeah,
guaranteed
yeah, they were
fully guaranteed contracts for the
The
players.
Steelers were the only team that
Really?
the Steelers were the only team to vote no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only team to
You
vote
gotta
no.
respect that.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, it was a little awkward when I came here in 14 because they was pissed off because it was like, yeah, man, we know that y'all was a part of one of them teams that voted against this. Like, yeah. So I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, y'all hollering about the contracts, and at that time, what the owners were willing to give up, it's like, bro, we're not gonna win this fight at that time.
They wanted too much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like,
Do you remember the specifics or?
not off the top of my head, and I don't want to like just throw something out there like
Sure.
that, but that was one of the things, like, because sticking points for negotiations have been multiple things, whether it's been for the alumni players, whether it's been for health insurance, because that's the other dynamic. We holler about guaranteed contracts, but the other thing that people are upset about is just the health insurance thing. It's 5 years. Then after that, they got different packages for you in terms of if you play long enough that will help compensate you to pay for it. But yeah, if you're not a guy that played long enough, man, you don't have a chance with any of that type of stuff. But yet, this is the only sport where it's 100% injury rate. You play this game, you're 100% guaranteed to get hurt. It's just a question of how significant the injury is going to be. But that's the reality of it. So, that's that part where it's very touch and go every time it's a negotiation, because if you want something as big as guaranteed contracts, you're going to have to give up something just as big to ownership. Initially, it was revenue sharing, TV contracts. Early on, we had no TV money. So when the lockout happened back then, they had a war chest of $500 million in just TV contracts, regardless if we played a game or not. So you hollering about, man, we're going to take this stance of guaranteed contracts. And they like, bro, we getting paid regardless. Y'all don't get paid if y'all don't play. They get paid just already because of the TV deal. So that was some of the stuff that you're dealing with. So once again, it's like when the new negotiations come up, was it? Because last one's what, 2 years ago? So I think we got, because it was like it was like right around that COVID time when it happened.
Yeah, it was a little bit before,
Yeah.
maybe 2018, 2019.
Yeah, so whenever that final like 10 years come up, that's gonna pop up again. But that's always one of the bigger sticking points, because for them, they look at the TV deals as big as how we look at potentially getting guaranteed contracts. So for us to get the sharing of those TV deals, that was a major win. For them, they're like, all right, well, we're going to cut down on some of these insurances. We're going to cut down on some of these benefits. We're going to cut down on certain things there. And that's the give and take. But when it's a union, when you got all of this money and all this at stake, it's like, yeah, somebody, you got to try to be in that middle. We need each other. So it's like, we can't do it without them. They can't do it without us. But that's the big issue with it, And there's nothing in contract. There's nothing in a contract right now that says a contract can't be guaranteed. That's why when Kirk Cousins got his guaranteed, it was dope, because he actually pushed forward
Deshaun
and
Watson
did
just
it.
got
Yeah,
$240
you see what I
million
mean?
guaranteed.
So it's nothing against, it's nothing that says they can't be guaranteed. It's just that's how it's been operated. So when you're talking in negotiations and they have how many years now of non-guaranteed contracts, unless you're an outlier like the Deshaun Watson situation, unless you're an outlier like the Kirk Cousins situation, they not hearing any of that. They're like, bro, this is how we do it, and we have this thing called salary cap. And that's how they, push their whole thing, and that's how they keep that thing alive, so to speak. But, like I said, it's, yeah, when you're doing the negotiations, like, what you willing to give up?
I'm guessing, too, the non-guaranteed contracts help the general managers, the front office, try to finagle some of these deals to fit into the salary
Because
cap.
think about this. If I guarantee you 20 mil.
Is that just going to straight up hit
you
the
you
cap
suck.
that way?
I guarantee you 20 mil and you suck, and after 3 games, I realize, this is not happening. But now I can't even get you off the books in 2 years like we normally could, right? Sign a bonus restructure, get them up out of here. Nah, that 20 is going to count hard because I gave you 20, or that 20 is guaranteed, so there's no way I can get up out that thing. But now we think of it in the sense of it helps you as a player, but it also hurts me as a player. Why? Because if we still got this salary cap, you're counting for 20 and you're not playing, and I'm the guy they want and I want to get paid, but you can't pay me 20. Why? Because you're getting 20.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't even give you 10 because you're still counting for 20. Hey, Most, you take 5? That becomes that conversation. Now it's like, nah, man, I'd much rather go somewhere else where you can get that. So that's some of the dynamics also that comes into play when you talk the guaranteed contracts with the salary cap. Once again, the salary cap's been here for so long, trying to get them to get rid of the salary cap, they're not going to do it. As players, we hate it because we know that's just their way to manage and keep all of our money at a decent level. Because what? Hey, commonality. Hey, man.
Fairness.
The 53 guy, hey, the one guy, hey. So if you're going to get this much, whoa, I don't care how much his owner makes. We got to have that balance here. But then as a player,
I think it does help the league maintain a fairness.
It does.
As opposed to MLB.
right?
You know how it is.
And that's different.
Maybe
Whereas
you
like,
could just bump the salary cap up
MLB,
across the league.
MLB, NBA, right? NBA, luxury tax, right? You'll just pay it extra.
Yeah.
And man, I'm going to bring these guys in, but you don't get as much parity. It's not as level across. Whereas we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, who, if this was an NBA team, right, in terms of records, you wouldn't be looking at us and thinking that we really could beat a team or really could do something. But in football, you can, because the rosters are so close talent-wise. But that's because of salary cap part. So it's like, I get the pros and cons of all of it, and it does make sense in certain elements, but that's just one of them things where when it's negotiations, you're going to have to always get something good for you and something not so good for you. Sometimes we would focus on, this group that you wanted to try to get a win for. Then you say in 10 years, we're going to try to focus on this group to get a win for. But that's just how it goes, man.
Coward brought up like a day or two ago.
Yeah.
That, with this type of scenario, or just even how the league has been shifting over these last 5 or 10 years, talking about player health and safety, that maybe this could be a wake-up call to even bump the games back to 16, and could it be 6 teams in the playoffs? I hope that, because I thought that was perfect. The 16 games and the 6 teams in the playoffs.
You remember how I spoke on it when we talked about the expansion.
I just don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
I think you already went this far.
Because it was the money.
They're not going to take it back.
But remember when we talked about that, and we said they're trying to make people believe that taking one preseason game away is not any different than adding one regular season at the end of the year. And we're like, bro, that is not how that works. Those two things aren't equal. You can't say player health and safety, and that's the move that you're making. But the argument in the large majority was what? More football. Extra regular season game.
16 and 6.
Regular season games, everybody's going to watch regular season versus preseason. We're not talking about eyes. We're talking about health and safety, though. It's way greater risk for every player that goes out there in a regular season game than it is in the preseason. But granted, you still take risks in the preseason. But it's just different in terms of the intensity, in terms of how much you're playing and things like that. But yeah, you know how that is. The NFL wants more money, and that was what they were going to do. And the agreement was what? All right, if you're going to add on a game and, expand the postseason where we're going to need more benefits, we're going to need you to, they altered the marijuana rule. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because they were spending so many guys, and it was like, hey, if you're going to do this, then we need to be able to get more of that, And that was the give and take there. We can ask, is that fair? Or those two things equal? For the players at this stage in their lives, they felt really good about that. For a guy like Marquise Pouncey, you remember how pissed off he was, right? When he was speaking on, he's like, "No, this is dumb. Like y'all dumb." Yeah, remember that? Yeah,
he said, I ain't agreeing.
Because everybody was thinking short term. Oh man, I want to smoke weed. Let me just do that. I don't care about that again. We like, bro, you could blow a tree whenever you retire. Trust me.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. But when you're 20, 21, 22, what are you thinking? You're not thinking that far. You're like, bro, I'm feeling great. I could ball. Yo, I want to blow a little bit more. Let's do this. So yeah. But that's the thing, and the NFL understands that. Yeah.
And you're talking just from a health and safety standpoint,
right,
in terms of the games and the scheduling. I'm talking too from a fan viewership standpoint. Now this is me personally.
Because you oversaturated.
I felt the scarcity was perfect. It was like the beautiful balance. It was the thing that all the other leagues didn't have.
Yes.
16-6. Like the 6 that got in felt like it really mattered. Now, I'm still going to watch if you add the 17th game. Obviously, if you add the 17th, it's going to help us potentially again this year. I don't care. from that standpoint, like if it helps us, fine. I'm still gonna watch, but like
Yeah.
I felt just from a bird's eye view, the 16-6, like they had it perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, you're getting more money and all this
That's
other
their
stuff.
thing, man. They want that money,
But
man.
combined with the health and safety with the players, as you mentioned, with that scarcity, the just that beautiful element of like it really felt like every game mattered. And it still does. It's only one extra
Yeah.
game, but I'm worried about the slippery slope
Yeah.
aspect of it.
No,
Getting to
that's
18.
how it all starts.
Like I don't really want that either.
Because what was it initially?
17's fine.
So think
but
about it. We
if it
settled
gets
on
to 18,
we settled on
nah.
17 this year, but not this CBA that just happened, but the one prior to that, they wanted 18 games.
Yeah, they
They
were
wanted
already
18.
talking about it.
So their whole thought process: throw out 18, we'll settle on 17. Next time we're gonna throw out 19, we'll settle on 18. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's their approach. But if you're not peeping it or hip to it, and at the same time, you also have to be 21, 22, 23, because that's the age group that the majority of the NFL is. Average career span 2.5 years. So you don't have a ton of 30s. You don't have a ton of 28, 29-year-olds that think like this. Even me at 34, I didn't think like this at 27, 28. I was lucky to have a Will Allen. I was lucky to have a James Harrison, lucky to have a Ben Roethlisberger. You know, those type of dudes that were just older, more mature, had been through this. But that's not a guarantee, man. You know, you go to some of these other teams. I remember being the vet, and I was a fourth-year guy. I'm like, bro, y'all looking at me for answers. I'm trying to figure it out myself. So that's also, you know, when you're talking about trying to get that type of change or for the players to actually understand that type of stuff, just most of their minds aren't thinking that. At 21, 22, man, you know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.